Question number 9 from the AP Stats multiple choice preview. Sports physician conducts a study to investigate whether we have an association between running experience and the occurrence of a certain sport injury for marathon runners while training for a marathon. Data was collected on a random sample of 51 marathon runners. Each runner from the sample was categorized by running experience, low, medium, high, and whether or not they experienced the injury while training for the marathon. The conditions for inference were met. We're going to have a chi-square test statistic be computed, and it's 8.12. Which of the following describes the p-value of the test? Now, ultimately, this is an answer that you're going to be able to determine from your calculator. The one thing that you're going to need to do before you can go to your calculator is identify what the appropriate measure for degrees of freedom is for this particular chi-square situation. Now, this does seem like, based on the phrasing, we're looking at a chi-square test for association. So a chi-square test for association would generally be run from information that could be organized into a two-way table. If you think about what that two-way table would be here, it would be either they were injured while training for the marathon or they were not injured while training for the marathon, and then their running experience level, low, medium, or high. So the degree of freedom measure for a chi-square test for association is going to be the number of columns you have, which is 2, taken down by 1, times the number of rows you have, 1, 2, 3 rows, also taken down by 1, and then multiplying those results together. So that ends up giving you 1 times 2, or 2 degrees of freedom. If you draw a chi-square distribution, again, it's not a normal distribution. Chi-square is going to be skewed to the right. We're trying to find the area of the upper tail for our p-value, so from 8.12 onward to infinity with 2 degrees of freedom, you can determine that the p-value by using your graphing calculator is 0.017, and then 0.017 looks like it falls in this range of values that is identified in option D. If you make the mistake that I would be more worried about making here, using a procedure that you would use for degrees of freedom for a t-distribution for a sample mean, taking this down to 50 would give you the conclusion A rather than the conclusion D. With chi-square, you're adjusting how you're computing degrees of freedom.